with another episode live from Florida. Today we have a special guest, but before we introduce our special guest today, we are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. So fans, please tune in, and everybody knows about our Spreaker app, where you guys can ask questions on that app to today's guest. And our guest of honor today, his name is James Cotton. He's a former defensive end for Ohio State University, and he also played in the NFL a little bit and Canadian Football League. So we'll get to all of that, his inspiring story, and he does a lot of great things off the field now. After his career, he gives back to the city of Ohio and goes and he makes appearances back to his old college, Ohio State University. James Cotton, welcome to the show. How are you and your family doing today? And like I said, thank you. And fans, please tune in. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. I appreciate that cool introduction. It's awesome to get on different platforms and, let everybody know kind of like what's going on here in the Ohio community. And then I also try and, make my rounds with all of the connections I have throughout the country and all the professional teams that I play for and collegiate teams. I always try and get back into the communities and just to let them know, the type of legacy I was trying to leave and what I did since life after sports. So that's always awesome. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, no problem. I can't wait for this interview. And James, let's start off. Tell our fans, how special was it for you? Obviously, you were born in Cleveland, Ohio, and how special was it for you to stay close to home and be with your family, friends, and commit to Ohio State University and to have your family and friends come to your games when you were in college?
Oh, it was amazing because I took an unorthodox path to get to the Ohio State. And so me growing up in Cleveland, I can't say it was always my dream to play for the Buckeyes, but I was a fan and, they were one of the winning teams associated with Ohio because you have the Browns and the Bengals, and they wasn't really good back in the 90s. Well, a few years they were, but for me to go to the Ohio State, I went to City College of San Francisco. I went to a junior college. So I went all the way from Cleveland, Ohio to San Francisco, California, and played 2 seasons out there where I was a junior college All-American.
Oh, wow.
And had 100+ tackles and 10+ sacks every season. And so that put me back on the radar to a lot of the teams that were recruiting me. And let me back up a little bit. In high school, I tore my ACL, and so all of my scholarships went out the window. And so once that happened, I was faced with some adversity. I either could quit or I could, use that adversity to fuel my drive to ultimately get into my college paid for because my parents couldn't afford to send me to school. And so I used my athletic gifts and abilities to attain that. But getting back to Ohio State, and my junior college allowed me to do that. And I was able to get a full scholarship to the Ohio State, and the rest was history.
Wow. Yeah, speaking of high school, you went to Collinwood High School where you played 3 sports, baseball, basketball, and football at the same time. And what was that like playing multiple sports? And I feel like you get more out of playing multiple sports. And in this generation, you see a lot of young kids playing multiple sports now. And what did you learn from that, playing multiple sports? And did it help you with one particular sport?
Well, all of the sports help each other out. So football came before basketball, and then basketball was preceded by baseball, but they all take athletic ability, some more than others. Baseball is more of a hand-eye coordination, but if you got the athletic ability to run the bases and make the plays in the field, in the outfield, there you're able to showcase all of your athletic talents. But basketball was by far my favorite sport, but the thing that I learned from all of the sports was just honestly teamwork, commitment, and having faith. Like when you have those essential skill sets that help mold you, and that's what sports does. And so that's what I like to preach to the young kids when I have an opportunity to speak to them is like, this is what I've learned from sports, and this is how you could use sports to not only start businesses, but start families, but just be a good human being. That's what sports allows you to do through the sportsmanship and just the respect for others. Sports is kind of like the heartbeat of the world, in my opinion, because we all live vicariously through these athletes.
Mhm.
And the fact that we're able to pull from some athletes triumph, some athletes fail, And then that's one of the beauties of sports. It's like real time. It's like a reality show, but this reality show comes with like the opportunity to win championships and, and to give glory to God.
So speaking of high school, you earned all-state honors and all-American honors in high school. And talk about that. What did that mean to you when you were mentioned with those honors?
Well, it just meant to me and my family was I carried the family last name as Cotton, and so when you get honors like that, it's just a representation of your family and who you're raised by and your support system, and that just comes along with the teamwork. But whenever you win any type of honors, or whenever I won honors, I always gave glory to God, but just for my family for being there and supporting me and getting me to baseball games and basketball games and so forth and so on. But it's just a working community. I had to rely on some of my friends, parents to take me to games. And when you have a close knitted community like that, it gives you the opportunity to excel. And so I had the opportunity to do that with sports. And sports was kind of like my way out. Where I grew up at was sort of a toxic environment. And so for me to have sports to fall back on, that's why I played three sports, was that it kept me off the streets.
Yeah. So tell our fans, we know that you were a heck of a great football player back in the day, but what was the scouting report on James Cotton when it came to baseball and basketball?
Uh, Basketball, I'll start there. Basketball, I was kind of like a point forward. I was sort of like Charles Barkley
Oh,
back in
wow.
the day, being able to snatch rebounds off the glass and go coast to coast. But I had the vision and the ability. My basketball intellect was very high. Or my intellect with all sports, I took that into account because it was like a major thing for me to be able to, outsmart my opponents. And so in baseball, I could hit the ball where I needed to hit it. I could hit it to left field, right field. I could hit it between the shortstop and third baseman. I wasn't really a power hitter, but once I hit the ball, I could get myself to third base in the blink of an eye because I was really fast. And then I had a real strong arm, so I played left field and third base. And so that was fun for me playing baseball. I wish people ask me what is one of my greatest regrets. I don't know if that was one of your questions, but one of my greatest regrets is not continuing to play baseball after high school because I had a shot to play professional baseball, but I just said, you know what, I'm gonna put all my eggs in the football basket.
Oh.
Unfortunately, but it worked out for me.
Oh yeah, it definitely did work out for you. And you're like a Bo Jackson 2.0, football player and baseball player. But yeah, so going to junior college, what were the main things that you learned in junior college, and would you say that helped that particular junior college helped you get to where you're at right now when it came to signing with Ohio State?
Yeah, my community college, City College of San Francisco, we have a very storied tradition program. We get together every couple years as a reunion. So the guys that I've met for such a short duration of time of 2 years, because that's all community college is, it's a 2 year opportunity. And I received an associate's degree and I was able to transfer to Ohio State. But what my community college taught me was just to be a leader. I was a two-time captain at my school, so I immediately was thrusted into the limelight where I was accountable for 22 other guys. And so when you put in that position, my coach believed a lot of me and he instilled a lot of faith in me. But the skill sets that I learned, man, it helped me so much, in life after sports because I'm able to, galvanize my family. I'm able to galvanize and get my business on the right track. Sometimes we lose focus on stuff, but the ability to refocus, that was a major deal. Playing sports, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to face adversity, but when you do, how are you going to respond to that? And so just being able to respond to tough situations, it's just really, that's what sports has done for me and my family was just give me the skill sets to, be productive in my family life and my business life.
Wow. Yeah, and not only was there any other colleges that were interested in you other than Ohio State, or was Ohio State the only college?
No, I had scholarship offers from Florida State University, Arizona State University, UC, Cal, Berkeley, Hawaii, a lot of Division I schools, Washington State. I was the number one community college or junior college prospect when I came out in 1997. And so, had I known what was going on back then, that they were giving college players a big bag down in the SEC, I would have took my talents down to the SEC. But no, I'm just kidding. But they were, I mean, to be the number one community college prospect coming out, it was an honor, and I landed at Ohio State, and everything worked out for me. And I'm glad to be, part of the Ohio family, because it gave me, as you before mentioned, it gave me the opportunity to be closer to home, and that's what I really wanted, because now my family and friends could come and see me play, and nobody seen me play when I was in San Francisco, except for my dad.
Yeah. So what was it like playing for Ohio State? Obviously, they have a rich tradition, rich history when it comes to players, and Bobby Carpenter. We actually had him on our show a couple of years last year. He played for Ohio State also. And what was that? What was it like being part of that tradition as a player?
I mean, it's an amazing tradition, because I actually played golf with Bobby here about a month ago. We had our former players golf outing. And so Coach Ryan Day, head coach of the Buckeyes, and the coaching staff, guys like Brian Hartline, James Laurinaitis, new coach for the Buckeyes, like all of those guys, and then all of the former players from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. You see all of these legends walking around, and it's just like, man, I'm just like a fan. Like, I'm like, hey, man, can I get your autograph and stuff like that, just to add to my collection. But it's like our brotherhood is a sacred brotherhood. And so, you can rely on these guys. Most of these guys are successful off of the football field, but they're very strong pillars here in the community as well. So I lean heavily on our network and our brotherhood, just to, keep myself acclimated, keep myself close to the program. I try and mentor at least 2 to 3 guys every year for the Buckeyes. Just a young player that's coming out, and just like, hey, this is what to expect. This is how to do it. And so that's how I keep my name fresh around the university. But, more importantly, just being a resource for guys. And so that's one of the greatest opportunities you have when you play for the Ohio State, is the opportunity and the network you create for life after sports.
Wow. Tell our fans, what would you say some of your best moments as a player at Ohio State, and some of your memorable games that you played in? And
Oh, yeah.
actually, there's a highlight video of you sacking Tom Brady. So talk about that also.
Oh, yeah. So, like, some of my best memories is slamming Drew Brees down by his face mask, and it was a penalty, but it was worth it. Just trying to set the tone. He came in as a gunslinger, passing the ball all around. So that was one of the ways I used to try and intimidate some of my opponents. Was just, although it was a little harsh, but very unaccepted in this day and age. But you have to set the tone somehow. And we played up in Happy Valley in 1999. They had all of these standout athletes for Penn State University: LeVar Arrington, Courtney Brown, Brandon Short. It was like a whole bunch of first-round draft picks, and they beat us in Happy Valley. But my claim to fame was I ran down there, I chased down their fastest player, and saved a touchdown. So he had like a 10-yard head start, and then they didn't know that Ohio State defensive lineman could run like that. And so just to hear the commentator like, "Oh my God, can you believe James Cotton can run like that?" That was a fond memory of mine. And then, of course, being the last player to sack Tom Brady twice in the Big House. Whenever you can sack a guy like Tom Brady, of what he's achieved, I always tell people when I'm out doing appearances, they say, "You was the last player to sack Tom Brady." I was like, "Yeah, I made him famous." And they're just like, it's just a good joke, a good laugh. But to see what he accomplished, because he was the 199th pick of the 2000 draft. I was a few picks right after him. And so to see that, he played for over 20 years. I only played 8 seasons of professional football, but, kudos to him for taking care of his body and just, doing what he loved to do, because nobody can take that away from you. And you'll have regrets, like I wish I would have played baseball, but I don't have any regrets on, leaving it all on the line. So, But those are like my fondest memories of being a Buckeye and playing for Ohio State, and then winning the Big Ten championship, Sugar Bowl championships. Got a nice, cool, big
Oh,
ring
there you
from
go.
Ohio State for that.
Yeah.
And so, I wear that type of stuff with pride. So that's awesome.
We also had LeVar Harrington and Brandon Short on the show also. So you're part of the family also when it comes to guests like that. And it was an honor talking to LeVar and Brandon, and they're both great guys. And I'm sure you guys have a great time when you guys reunite and play golf or whatever, or go. What Speaking of that, what's it like going reuniting with your teammates, your former teammates, or the players you played against? What's it like for you guys just to come together, play golf or play anything?
Yeah, it's always fun, and it's always like being in the locker room. That's what I could compare it to. Is just a lot of laughing. You get the opportunity to reminisce and just fellowship, honestly. And so when you have the opportunity to tell some old stories and relive some moments and get a laugh or two out of it, that's the beauty of life. And it's just like, man, it was worth putting on the scarlet and gray, and it was worth strapping it on, because I get that question all the time. I have a son now; he's 4 years old, and he's like, "Are you gonna let your son play football?" I said, "Well, if he gravitates towards it, I will support whatever he's doing. I'm not gonna stop him from doing it, but I'm gonna make sure he's adequately educated and protected, and I'll put him in the best position." And so that's my recommendation for any parents out there that's struggling with, should I put my son in little league football, sports? Is obviously up to you as a parent, but you just want to make sure you do your research, educate yourself, and make sure your kid is mature enough to play whatever group of kids he's going to play with, because that's the thing about football. It's a violent sport, and some kids mature faster than others. Some kids learn faster than others. And so you don't want your kid to be the kid that's kind of like, unfortunately, called the weakest link or the weak link and can't protect themselves out there. So I didn't play football until the ninth grade. That's when I started playing. And so, parents, if your sons or kids haven't started playing until then, you're completely fine. They still could become a pro athlete.
Yeah, and if you can do it, anybody can do it. It's just hard. We have to work hard every day and work on your craft and not give up. And that's what you did, not giving up. And you took a longer route, but you got to where you wanted to be, and you had a great career. And speaking of the draft, you got drafted by a historic franchise, Chicago Bears, round 7 to year 2000, when Tom Brady got drafted. You got picked 223. So what was that like experience, like with being with your family, waiting for your name to be called to round 7, and then being picked by the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, it was a great feeling, great experience. To have NFL teams calling my phone saying, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" And just being on the phone with general managers from the New York Jets and the Baltimore Ravens, and like I went and visited a lot of those teams, the Buffalo Bills, and so all of the teams, they do their due diligence and they research you very well. I guess one of my things that made me drop in the draft was I had a knee injury, my high school knee injury, and the fact that we were 6-6 my senior year at Ohio State, that kind of affected our draft stock. But the fact that I chased the guy down from Penn State, general manager at the time of the Chicago Bears was Rick Spielman, who was Chris Spielman's brother, all-time linebacker, great, who's currently, I think he's with the Minnesota Vikings organization, and Chris Spielman is with the Detroit Lions. And so when you know people and people know of you, that was the reason why the Bears selected me with that pick. Was Spielman's brother. He got on the phone, he called me, he said, "Hey, my brother said he'll get in the foxhole with you and walk down a dark alley." So I always tell Chris Spielman that I'm grateful that, this brother was able to get me drafted and selected me. And so that was just a great experience. My family was in town, and it was just a great weekend. And like I say, when your family and the community is talking about the last name, see it right there over my shoulder. Like that right there carries weight. And, I'm just always trying to be a representation of my family, and always keep my faith first.
Yes, and then the interesting thing about your story is that you only played 1 year of professional football, but you went to the Canadian Football League and you went back to NFL afterwards. But talk about you won a great cup champion in Canadian football. And what was that like adjusting from the NFL to the Canadian Football League? And tell our fans about that adjustment and eventually winning a championship there in Canadian Football League.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went up to the Canadian Football League in 2001. After I got drafted in 2000, I suffered an injury, and so the Chicago Bears released me, and so I had to go and prove myself. I was real good at proving myself to make sure, hey, this is where I belong. And so I went to the Calgary Stampeders, and we weren't the best team. We were 8-10, and we got really focused, like the last 4 games of the season. And the only way we could make the playoffs is if we won out. And so we had a team meeting. I used my leadership to let everybody know, hey, we got to focus in. Everybody's got a job to do. And I was just a rookie in the CFL at the time. And so it was thankful that I had the leadership abilities to, lead the team. And so I led the CFL and my team and sacks and tackles for losses and stuff like that. But we got hot and won the Grey Cup my first year in the CFL, got a nice diamond ring out of it.
Yeah.
And so that allowed me to sign a free agent deal with the Buffalo Bills. And then ultimately I ended up signing a free agent deal with the Atlanta Falcons and got a couple seasons in there. And then after that, I finished my career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League. And unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to win another Grey Cup, but I had an opportunity to finish in the top 3 in the league and sacks and stuff like that. I was still productive, but it was just time for me to move on. It's like my body wasn't recovering like it used to. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to excel in life after sports. I had been planning for it. I wanted to be a motivational speaker, and I've been able to, motivate youth, corporations, and a lot of other opportunities that I've had to help people fundraise. So that's kind of like my professional career in a nutshell. And I actually was the 55th overall pick in the XFL, the very first XFL for the New York, New Jersey Hitmen. So playing in that league the first go around, and then unfortunately it folded before it could take off for a second season. So it'll be interesting to see what the XFL does this year. I heard they lost some money going into it, which was expected. I don't know if they expected it to be that much, but I hope that the visionaries. I think Dwayne Brock Johnson is one of the owners of the league, but I hope everything works out to where they could rebound and hopefully make money and give these guys an opportunity to showcase their abilities, because that's what's needed. They need a spring football league to coincide with the NFL, and hopefully it turns into a feeder system.
Yeah.
But we just got to figure it out.
Do we see a comeback for James Scott in the near future when it comes to football, probably XFL or or NFL? No.
No, I'm 46 years old. I am done, man. I feel like I might have pulled a muscle lifting weights the other day, so there's no way I can take the abuse and banging and like going up against 300-pound guys, and I definitely couldn't do that. Not even for a series. I joke around like I got one more series left in me, not even the series, but I just can't believe I used to do it. I see the game and how fast it is, and how all of the hits happen, and so I'm excited, to see things move forward with the game and how it progresses. But I'm fine being on the sideline.
Yeah, like for I don't know, we're good. I don't know if you know, we're good friends with Leonard Marshall, the former Giant, if you know him. He said that he misses the old school football, meaning with the hard hits and everything. But now if you like now in this football in this generation, when you hit someone hard or you get a flag, they throw a flag. But Leonard said he misses the old style football.
Oh yeah, it's a tough sport, man, and I think the game is much more safer. I mean, the old style of football is football. It's X's and O's. It's just a matter of, how you get hit, or if you get hit, when you get hit. All of those things come into play, but they changed the rules to make the game safer, so I respect that.
So for how tough was it for you and your family to keep moving from team to team, especially moving from to NFL, to Canadian football, back to NFL, and then to the Canadian Football League again?
I didn't have a family back then, so I didn't start a big family until I finished playing football. That was one of my things. I fathered a kid in high school, so my daughter is like 28 years old now. So, but she was the only one that would be like coming back and forth, like coming to Atlanta. She'd come to see me play up in Hamilton, which is closer to Cleveland. Those situations. But once I was done playing football, I wanted to make sure that before I started a family, I wanted to make sure that my football career was done because I didn't want to be moving all over the place. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not in coaching at a collegiate level, is because, you know, your job isn't going to last forever. And then you got to take a job here. If you want to keep moving up, you're going to have to keep moving around. And I prefer to have stability. My professional career was full of instability and just moving from city to city, like you mentioned. And so I didn't want my family to have to change schools every year or every other year. And so just now, like having all my businesses here in the Columbus area is very much more appreciated for myself.
Uh, so speaking of the businesses, and obviously you're doing amazing work off the field after your career, and tell our fans, what's it been like for you to go back to Ohio State University, speak to the younger players there, and help out with your former school, and also speak with other students, kids, and what's that been like for you now to share your story and your career to them?
For me, it's very therapeutic. I feel like I have the opportunity to share some of the lessons that I learned and just some of the skill sets that I've acquired just from playing football and playing sports. I'm able to take those same attributes and build my businesses around. And so the fact that I have the opportunity or the platform to give back in that manner, that's what I try and do. One of my main things, my company, Buckeye Con, I help athletes transition into life after sports. So we host community outreach events as far as free football camps to attend with special needs and underprivileged youth. And so I have former OSU and NFL players helping out tremendously with the fundraising efforts, and then just being present at the camps as well. And then I also have a financial literacy piece where I own my own life insurance agency. So just to be able to talk to my old teammates and just families in general that I host my camps with, to make sure they got their proper coverage, because it's very important that we get life insurance at a young age. And so I'm always trying to make sure that all of my families understand, if in order to create generational wealth, the cheapest time to get life insurance is today. And this is how you set your kid up for generational wealth, and to be able to pass that down to your kids to make sure you protect their future insurability. That's very key. And a lot of people really don't understand that. So as a licensed life insurance agent in over 20 states, I do my best to try and make sure all my teammates know that I play with the importance of leaving a legacy, because I lost a couple of teammates over the past 2 years. Some guys had insurance in place and some didn't. And so we had to have like a fish fry or a GoFundMe or set up an event to help raise funds for it. And so like, I don't like necessarily being in that. And that's why I really have put my foot to the pedal on making sure everybody's educated. So if you guys need some education out there, contact me, 614-517-2172. I'll get you some information out to you immediately.
Wow. Yeah, and that's awesome. And if you ever need help with we can help you guys out too. Our team can help you with your businesses and help you grow it or share it so our fans can see it too. And we're actually part of this foundation. Hugh Jackson, he's a former NFL coach. Now he's coaching at the Grambling State University, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking and making sure the community is safe. So I'll send you his foundation. I'm sure you know him, Hugh Jackson, and we'll send you his foundation so you can check it out. We're helping him with that, and like I said, we can help you out with your stuff if you want, and I'll have our team to share your stuff if you want.
Amazing. That'd be greatly appreciated. The more we could get the word out and educate folks, that's the key.
Yeah, so tell our fans we got before we get to the fan questions, tell our fans if you were not playing football or if you're not playing with the football, baseball, basketball, what would you be doing now?
That's a hard question. What would I be doing now? I have no idea because I've always been around sports and athletics. I really didn't have any other passions. I know when I was in Ohio State, I had an old school car, so I was into muscle cars and
Oh,
stuff like that. So I don't know. I probably would be like a car collector or a vintage collector of some sorts. I also wanted to be like a counselor. So I may have been in the industry where I've had some counselors that was very instrumental in me, and that's why I like going out and trying to influence young people because I know how important it is to have a mentor or something like that in place. And so I probably would be like a counselor or a vintage car collector.
nice. Do you have time for fan Q&A?
Yep.
All right, so some of our fans that has chimed in here on my app, the speaker app on my phone. The first question, one of our fans wants to know, did you ever connect with LeBron James throughout your career when you went Ohio? And also they want to know, are you surprised that Bronny went to USC and not Ohio State?
I'm not surprised that Bronny went to USC and not Ohio State. Much better weather, way better connections. Obviously, you probably don't need many connections with your dad being LeBron James, but I have met LeBron James once. We both had the same CPA. Like his first year in the NBA, we the guy who did my taxes did LeBron James taxes,
Oh, okay.
and so I think he had that in place for a year before he allowed his team to come in and take over kind of like his management and things like that. But I was able to get courtside seats, and so the connection was made. I met LeBron's mom once at the game because she sat right next to us, and so I introduced myself to her. And there was a guy that a lot of people confuse me with this gentleman who played basketball with LeBron James. His name is Sheehan Cotton, and a lot of people think that I'm him, and so a lot of people just automatically think like, "Hey, you went to St. Vincent St. Mary," and I'm like, "No, that's a guy." And we're not related, but like our families with the last name, I know his family because it's a unique last name. Cotton is a unique last name, and so it's been cool to see he's getting a lot of publicity now with the new streaming Peacock, the LeBron James story, their whole high
Oh
school
yeah.
journey. So I've been following his page. It's a great to see my last name affiliated out there. Even though it's not me, I just love to see the name Cotton up there. It's cool.
Wow.
So it's a great
Another
question.
yeah. Another question from our fan is, you have the championship ring with the Ohio State, but they want to know, where do you keep your Grey Cup championship ring?
I keep all my rings in a glass case. I've been blessed, man. I've been able to win a city championship in high school, a championship in junior college, a championship at Ohio State, and the championship professionally. So every level that I played on, and I share that with the youth as well. Like every level that I played on, I have cool championship rings. But I have all my jewelry and cool things in like a glass case. So I have my gold pants, I have my championship rings, and if people that's familiar with Ohio State Michigan rivalry, you get gold pants whenever you win that game. And so I have a pair of gold pants. And so it's just great to have kind of like keepsakes and just things that have sentimental value. And so it's always fun.
Another fan question here. They want to know, speaking of rings, what was it like seeing the Denver Nuggets winning their first title?
I thought it was cool, man. Whenever you could win a championship and bring that much notoriety to a city, especially Denver, I think it was their first championship. And so the city of Denver, with football being out there, won Super Bowls, and then the hockey team out there. So for Denver Nuggets to etch their stone in the state's history, I think it's phenomenal for the community. And then there are some ties to Ohio with the Denver Nuggets championship. A guy by the name of Calvin Booth I think he's the general manager or something like that, affiliated with the Nuggets program. So we've been able to watch vicariously through him and support him. So I used to see him here training because he grew up here in Columbus, but he played basketball at Penn State University. And so, like you said, it's just like a network when you see athletes around. And so we were rooting for the Nuggets for that case. And it's awesome to see what they've done with the parade and all of that. It's just good to see people having a good time and rejoicing and just celebrating all of the hard work that those players and coaches and families have put in. So that's the beauty of sports. If we watch it unfold.
I don't know if you saw the parade, but it looks like Mike Malone, the coach, needs to come out with a new album now. Rap. He looked like a rapper in the parade. It's kind of cool though. Whenever I'm noticing when they win championship, all these coaches show more emotion and they relate to the players more. They bring more swag when they win because winning a championship it means a lot to the coaches also because it's a hard, tough job for them to keep all the players mentally focused. And I feel like I've been noticing where the coach let out their emotions, like the players do. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another fan question here. They want to know what was your favorite food, either before a game or after a game.
Before the games, I didn't really eat much. I ate light, just kind of like some pasta, depending on what time the game was. But typically, most games are kind of like afternoon games, and so you get the opportunity to eat breakfast. My favorite breakfast was just like French toast and sausage, and then post game, it was always just kind of like either a steak or a Caesar salad or something like that, something fulfilling.
Wow. Another fan question. They want to know who was the funniest teammate that you played with.
Funniest teammates in college, hands down. I had a buddy named Cortland Bullard. He always picked fun and poked fun at a lot of players, and just like had the coaches laugh. And whenever you can make your coaches laugh, you're funny. But professionally, I would say, God rest his soul. His name is Keon Carpenter.
Okay.
Played football at Virginia Tech. He was a great teammate, but he was a funny guy, man. His teammates with Michael Vick at Virginia Tech, and this was with the Atlanta Falcons. And so, but that was like one of my memorable teammates. And so, God rest his soul, man.
Wow. Another fan question here. They want to know what was your favorite music? What's your favorite music?
My favorite music currently is jazz music. I listen to a lot of Boney James, Mike Phillips, Dave Koz, just like a jazz connoisseur. So
we'll take two more. Another fan question. They want to know who's your favorite player to watch right now in the NFL?
Favorite player to watch right now in the NFL? Probably Sam Hubbard of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. Yeah.
We both played the same position, and I watched this kid grow from just kind of like an average guy at Ohio State, and then he worked his butt off and became the man because he was playing with those Bosa brothers, and so it was hard for him to have his own name. But when he had the opportunity to make plays, he always was there. And watch what he's doing in the NFL at that level. He got a great motor, and he's an Ohio State guy.
Oh, I love Sam Hubbard, man. You brought it up. You said all the right things, and I felt like nobody was talking about him, like you just said, with the Bosa brothers. But this guy, I love him. I love to watch him play in Cincinnati, and the Bengals have a great player in Sam Hubbard. And everybody please pay attention to this player because he's a heck of a player, heck of a worker. Like you said, high motor. And he gets to the quarterback, and he knows how to play football. So Sam Hubbard, man, he has to get more respect in the game. That's all I have to say. Just like the Bosa brothers. But with the last question here from our fans, they want to know what they want to know what's that one piece of advice that you got that helped you throughout your career?
The one piece of advice that I got was no matter how well you focus you're going to get distracted. The best thing you could do is have the ability to refocus. That is the best advice I've gotten. So in football, if you get pancaked or if you get reach blocked, you mess up on the play, you get scored on. In basketball, you get dunked on. Anything, you have to have the ability to refocus because it's getting ready to happen to you again. And that's the same thing that happens in life, man. Life isn't going to stop. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep happening. But your ability to refocus and focus on the task at hand, that's going to be your most prominent asset.
Yeah, actually, I lied. One more fan question. Another one just popped up here. They want to know, what are your thoughts on the Ohio State football team coming up for this season?
I think the Ohio State football team this season is in the best position than most teams have been in the past few years because we had a notable quarterback the last few years: Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, Dwayne Haskins, the late great Dwayne Haskins. So when you have quarterbacks like that echelons of quarterback, people expect a lot. And so I think with this new guy coming in, since he hasn't, started consistently, he wasn't the starter last year. I think the expectations isn't as high. And so when that happens, you have the ability to fly under the radar. So I'm hoping they can fly under the radar. But Marvin Harrison Jr., it brings a lot of attention to the university.
Oh, yeah.
And so the talent that we have, all he has to do is not make the mistakes and just be able to deliver the ball and put everybody in the right positions. And so I think hopefully Ohio State will be in a position at the end of the year to be in the top 4 again. They just got to take care of their business one game at a time. But I think they have the talent to do it. It's just a matter of them not making the mistakes and opening themselves up.
You know what? They just have to run the playbook to Marvin Harrison Jr. and you're all set. That's it. Because Marvin Harrison Jr. is like the LeBron James of the NFL. That's how good he is. He's gonna be. Oh my, like, you guys have got a great player, Marvin Harrison Jr., especially obviously his father, one of the greats to play with the Colts. It's gonna be fun to watch him because this guy, I've seen tape on it. Oh my God, Ohio State fans and you guys should be excited and just run the playbook by him. But
right.
But where can our fans find you on social media?
They can find me. My Instagram handle is Buck BUCKICON, and then Twitter, same handle at Buck Icon BUCKICON. You guys can like our Facebook page, fan page, Buck Icon BUCKICON. Let's see, TikTok BUCKICON 52. Let's see. And then if you just want to hop on the website, buckicon.com, BUCKICON.com. We also have upcoming camps coming up. So if you guys want to sponsor our camps, sponsor a kid, I want to make sure this camp is absolutely free for the kids.
Yeah.
There's a donation link active on the website on the home page. Go to the home page and check us out. And then if you guys need any type of information on life insurance or just got a question, you want a quote, I can give you a quote in less than 2 minutes. Go to Snyder, SNYDER -Cotton, COTTON agency.com. So that's Snyder-Cotton agency.com. And we could get you a quote generated. Just reach out to me. You can leave us your information. I will call you personally, introduce myself, and make sure you get all your questions answered. So those are ways you guys could help me out. Follow us on all social media platforms, and then let everybody know the importance of having life insurance.
Yeah, there you have it. Would you like to say anything to our fans and your fans?
Just thank everybody so much for the support. Just continued blessings. Just what I said, the ability to refocus. Make sure, let's all refocus. Social media takes us away from what we love to do sometimes, man. We get distracted, but just have that ability to refocus and live in the moment. Please live in the moment. Cherish the moments. 4th of July is coming up. Celebrate with your family. Look at some fireworks, man, and just stay in the moment.
Hey, there you have it. James Cotton, former Ohio State University defensive end, played in the NFL, Canadian Football League. Man, he's a heart of a champion. He works hard. Go follow him. He does great stuff off the field now. And James, thank you for joining us and and our fans. And thank you to our fans for asking great questions also. And James Collin, thank you again. Keep up the great work. We'll stay connected. And like I said, we'll if you need anything from our end, we can help. Our team can help you share your stuff. And then I'll send you the Hugh Jackson Foundation also, so you can go check it out.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, man. God bless.